you know, in the right conditions, we'd have probably got some decent images today, and really with very little intelligence. Morning everybody, how are you doing? And welcome to the wonderful Aberdeenshire coast again. I don't know if you remember, but back in October we were up here and staying in a cottage, and we saw some peregrine falcons. And now these cliffs are, it's probably about a 6-mile run of cliffs that are about 300 to 350 feet high. And we thought that this had a great potential for peregrine falcons nesting up here. And we saw, as I say, a peregrine falcon in October across here and took a few quick images. And I just had to come back here and try and see if we could get some images during the breeding season. So we came briefly for about 4 hours a couple of days ago just to do a bit of a recce. The problem you've got here is there's about 6 miles of cliffs, so if you're used to taking images of peregrines on things like cathedrals, well, you've got one point where the peregrines are going to be. Here we've got a 6-mile run of really high, tall cliffs, and for a lot of them it's inaccessible to get to look across at the cliffs. So for instance, where I'm sat at the minute, you know, potentially I could have a peregrine falcon nesting below me and I'd never know. You just can't see. And you can't get to see. So when we came and did the recce a couple of days ago, we saw peregrine flying around a couple of times, but we also noticed a favourite, either a plucking spot or I don't know, there's a lot of feathers on a sort of cliff face across there, and we thought probably that was our best chance of getting some images of the peregrine for a start, perched on the cliffs, which is what I was looking for, and then hopefully we'll get some flight shots as well. But what we're going to do today, we're going to stay in this position where we can see the actual point where we think the peregrine likes to sit, and sort of train the lenders over in that direction. We can also see if she comes flying by and stuff as well, or if she's hunting off the cliffs. We've got the sun up here at the minute, so this afternoon that sun's going to move around this way, so we'd be shooting into the sun. So we've got another couple of places back along the coast where we can get and look in a easterly direction and hopefully get a flying around in that area as well. So that's the plan. We've also bought the wild camping gear just in case we don't get anything, or you know, we're not happy with what we've got today. And as you can see, the weather at the minute is absolutely stunning, and I think it's supposed to be better tomorrow as well. There's a bit of a wind blowing, although you can't tell because we're slightly off the top of the cliff, but that's the plan for today anyway. We're going to see what we can get here this morning, switch around, and obviously we'll bring you with us, and me and Leia, see if we can get any pictures and a little bit of film. So I'll catch hold of you in a bit. Right, I just wanted to give you a bit of an update. As you can see, within a couple of hours the weather has closed in quite a lot today. We're not expecting any rain. We've had 2 peregrines. Unfortunately for us at the minute, they're not sticking close to the cliff. They tend to be going right out to sea and circling, and obviously occasionally getting bothered by gulls and stuff, and then we keep losing them around this headland here, and then they either come down really low, so by the time we've seen them they've gone, or we have had them come over the back a couple of times. They've not been onto this perch yet. Now I've just been and had a look, and on the top of here you've got a good view to the east, so potentially I might go and have a look at that later on, but I think we're going to stay here until lunch and then we might move around a little bit. But yeah, they're definitely around. It's just not very easy to get any images of them at the minute, but we'll keep trying, and then I'll obviously get back to you. Right, so another update for you. It's a little bit later in the afternoon now, and it's now, as you can probably see, it's scorching hot again now. It's been very, very difficult, and the behaviour of the peregrines is not what I expected. I expected them to stay fairly close to the cliffs. When we saw them in October, they were coming up high above the cliffs, and you know, they were basically running up and down the cliffs. We've seen 2 of them at least 3 or 4 times now, circling out at sea, and they're just too far away to get any shots. There's been no hunting actually on this section of cliffs either way that we can see. Now it might be that it's us that's causing the problem, because I get the feeling that these peregrines are a little bit like countryside foxes compared to urban foxes. So if you think about peregrines at somewhere like Lincoln Cathedral, part of their natural environment is people. People are walking around under the cathedral, walking into the cathedral, you know, inside, going up and down, everything around the cathedral all day. So they get used to it and they're not bothered. Now here, this section of coastline there's no coastal path on this section, so it's very much wild, and it may be that myself and Leia are causing the problem. That's why they're not coming in close to the cliffs, I don't know. So what I've done, I've moved a little bit closer, as close as I dare, to where this perch is, and I've employed some scrim netting, which I'm going to get fully underneath in a minute, and I'm just keeping my eye on that perch, just in the hope that one of the peregrines will come and perch on there. I'm about 100 metres away still, so and hidden in all this foliage, but I'm not sure whether it's going to work. But I think that's what the problem is. I think, you know, they're just not used to people, and anybody on the cliff still just give them a wide berth. We'd have been better off in a boat today, actually. I said to Leia earlier, one of the trawlers that goes up and down, one of the lobster potting boats, they've gone closer to them than they have to us, but again, they'll see those every day. So, but I'm not really going to complain, because I mean, it's absolutely bloody wonderful here today. The weather is outstanding. We had a smallest amount of rain early on, that's disappeared, and now it's just wall-to-wall sunshine. The plan today, I think, is what we're going to do, what we've decided to do. We are going to wild camp today. If anybody's been watching the news earlier this week, from when I'm filming this, we had northern lights all over England and Scotland and Wales. You could see them right down to the south coast. Well, we were up in Aberdeen, but unfortunately we were at Leia's in the middle of the Bridge of Don. We weren't anywhere particularly scenic, so we took some images on the phones from her back garden, and it was absolutely outstanding. It's the best I've ever seen it. So we're not expecting anything like that tonight, but with clear skies, there's a little chapel just near a place called Gardenstown that we can walk to from here. So I think what we're going to do is try and find a place to wild camp around there later on this evening, and maybe do a bit of astrophotography, which again, I'll stick into this video. So for now, we're going to concentrate on these peregrines again. So I will catch you in a bit. I need to go into silent and undercover mode for a while, so that's what I'll do. And hopefully, yeah, keep your fingers crossed for us. I'll see you in a while. Right, welcome to my rather confined space. I've actually I've sacrificed the big tripod with video head just to create a little bit of a tent with this scrim netting over the top. So I've got quite a, you know, I'm covered fairly well from head to foot, just with the lens poking out, so that I can take some shots if anything turns up. What I've got back to you for is I've just taken a couple of test shots of the perch that the peregrine uses, and I don't know whether you can see the problem on this image, and I think this is caused by heat haze. I've had this problem before when I've been shooting in hot weather near large bodies of water, and obviously I've got the sea here, so and it's probably one of the first hot days of the year up here, and I think that's one of the problems. So yeah, whether, if it does turn up, whether the images are going to be usable is probably a moot point, but we'll stick at it. But as I say, it's not looking great at the minute, but there's not an awful lot you can do about it. If you get those conditions, then you know that's what it does to the photos. So yeah, we'll see. We'll stick at it, and I'll get back to you later. Right, well, that's been very interesting. It's been a long stint, I have to say, and quite frustrating, because I've had 2 peregrines and I could hear them calling below me. And this is, if I explain, the bit that I'm on here is not particularly steep, and it's got this sort of bulbed type plant most of the way down. So it's not where you'd expect peregrines to be nesting. It's just not rocky enough. This is like a quite a gentle slope on this section. But I could hear them below me somewhere, and then they've been out over the sea again. They came right in close to where this perch is here and then disappeared back out over the sea. And then lo and behold, 10 minutes ago, one just swooped straight in and up to that perch. And as I say, the problem I've got is this heat haze, and I think it's probably going to foul up all the images. But I will put an image up just to show, you know, that it did appear eventually, and that bit of intelligence that we did had, I say that in the nicest way, after probably 5 hours, well, a couple of hours on, a couple of days walking up and down the coast in October. Sunday we did about 5 or 6 hours here just trying to scope out a decent place to do some photography or give us a chance, and then we've done countless hours today. But it's been really, really enjoyable just watching the world go by, really, on these wonderful cliffs. But yeah, very, very difficult, and as I say, I think the images are going to be a bit trash because of the heat haze. I will stick one through DxO Pure Raw to see if that does anything, but you know, I'm not confident that it will. But I'll put an image up for you to see. I did a little bit of filming as well, although as I said, I have given up my video head because that's providing a bit of a frame for this scrim netting so that I could get underneath it. So I've just done the best I can, but really, really enjoyable day. I'll catch hold of you in a bit. How you doing? Well, we've finished with the peregrines. You probably can't tell, it looks quite light on this video at the minute, but what I'm looking at anyway. But it's about 10 o'clock in the evening here in, well, at Gardenstown, which is over here. Behind this wall there's an old chapel, and what we're hoping to do this evening is do a little bit of astrophotography. So we were hoping to wild camp a little bit further along here, but the wind's picked up this afternoon, and yeah, we don't fancy putting it on the cliffs over there because I'm not sure whether we'd still be there in the morning at the minute. So what we've decided to do is we're just going to sit here on this bench, wait for it to get fully dark, which might be a while. Judging by how it is up here in Scotland, it sort of gets dark very late, and then it's almost dawn before you know it. So yeah, we've got a bit of a wait here today. So that's what we're going to do anyway. Hopefully, I've just had a look at photo pills, and it looks like there's the potential for getting the Milky Way behind the chapel here. So we'll see what we can do, and when I've set up, obviously I'll get back to you. On the peregrine front, we did manage to get a few more images. There was still a long way out, but I think what we've decided between us by watching the behaviour is they're probably still pairing up. We did see a food pass this afternoon between the pair of them, but nobody was going back to a nest or anything, so it just looks like they were still pairing up. But yeah, so probably a bit early, which is a bit of a surprise, because if you look at them on the cathedrals and things, a lot of them have either got young or eggs at the minute. So yeah, but hopefully next year we can catch them a little bit later, maybe into June, and get a little bit more action than we got all closer in anyway. But yeah, that's peregrines done for the minute, and as I say, hopefully we'll get some astrophotography done. Right, well, I thought I'd give you a final update. As you can see, it's very, very dark now. It's probably just past midnight, and I say it's very dark, but it's only just got dark enough to do any astrophotography. So myself and Leia have been hanging around for about 2.5, 3 hours, just waiting for it to get dark. It's not going to be dark for very long either, so I'm going to nip off and try and get some of these shots before it starts to get light. Well, what we're trying to do is get the chapel that I showed you earlier as sort of the foreground, and then Gardenstown Harbour, which, looking behind me, looks absolutely spectacular now with all the lights as it curves around the coast there. We're trying to get that in the picture, and then obviously some nice astrophotography, some nice stars up in the sky, but it is quite murky. I think there's a little bit of a veil of high cloud that we've got today, which isn't making it not brilliant for astrophotography, but we're going to do the best that we can anyway, and I'll stick those images up at the end of this video. So I hope you've enjoyed this one. I will see you soon for another video, and hopefully it might be more peregrines, but this time at somewhere like Lincoln Cathedral. So anyway, I'll see you then. Cheers, bye.